Many days' march from here, the raiders caught me. Many lie on the trails, a feast for the vultures. I shall never see my country again.
Now tell me about the Elmina Castle. I had no idea. I didn't even know about these Elmina castles.
Well, let me clarify something. I think it's very important that we have clear understanding.
Yes.
Remember, the European named them, and they call them castles.
Yes.
For you and I, our ancestors did not come out of the castle. They came out of the castle dungeons. That's where we were.
Yes.
We were kept in underground dungeons until such time as maybe the European, never mind, maybe, whenever that European wanted to take one of us out of there to be used, he took us out of there. And people died in those rooms. And there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people that were kept in those places. So when we talk about the Cape Coast Castle, it is important for us to call it what it really is. The Cape Coast Castle Dungeons, the Elmina Castle Dungeons, because that's what they are, if we're going to call them by their names. The first time I walked in, I remember being in the men's dungeon, and I was overwhelmed. The stench, it was dark. When I went into the dungeons the first time, when I went into the men's dungeon, it was dark, it was damp, and the guide was explaining to us how over 1,000 men had been kept here, how there were no toilet facilities, and you could feel it was sticky. They were kept there for 3 to 4 months at a time, because that's how long it took for the ships to go to the Americas and to return. So at that time, I remember running out of the dungeons because I was frightened, and their words are really hard to express. I left there and waited for my group, and then we went down into the women's dungeon. And when I went into that women's dungeon, he had finished the tour and we were going out, and I asked him, I said, would you mind if I stayed behind for a few minutes? I just need to be here. And I remember being on my knees, praying, crying, because I hurt so badly. And I heard voices. I heard people crying, people were screaming, and I just was out of myself. Then I felt like, just someone just embracing me and touching me and caressing me, just like comforting me and saying that it was all right, that I had come home and it was fine. And, when I came back to myself, I realized that some of what I heard, the screams that I heard, were my own screams.
Okay.
I was covered with dirt from rolling around on the ground, but I knew when I left that castle dungeon that I would never, ever be the same person again. I knew that.
And you knew that.
I knew that. I knew I would not be the same person.